From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into another episode. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold beer and let's get after it. It's our St. Patty's Day episode, which means we've got some Guinness in the house.
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. I'm over here making brackets.
Yeah,
so.
Me too. I'm currently on Crichton versus Virginia.
If you make 1,000 brackets and you win one of them, you're still a champion.
But if you don't win any of them, you're like the rest of us. But yeah, I was about to just start sitting here and I'm like, we got a show to do. But we're going to be talking some March Madness, and this episode's a little different than usual. The majority of the show will be our mid-season review of the hockey season, where we look back at our preseason predictions and we decide if we're going to stick with those decisions or if we're going to update them. And we got a little scoring system that we're going to do, just much like last year. I think last year I won it. I won it.
Yeah,
and
you
I think
beat me out.
I think this season you're looking
so
solid.
Close. It was so close, man.
Yeah, I think you're going to take it this year unless something changes. I think it's going to be close though.
Oh yeah, I mean it's definitely going to be pretty close. I mean, I like your picks too. I mean, I'm definitely not against anything that you have or have updated to. Just to recap, we had to go back and listen to the episode to determine how we said we were going to score it, because we just make things up as we go along. If you stick with your original pick from the preseason, you get 4 points. And if you change, then if either of your picks win, you get 2 points for those picks. So I don't think we have any double downs or anything like that. The double down would essentially be you sticking with your guy. But I mean, it's really anybody's ball game. There's only a couple that neither of us probably had a good early pick. I mean, we had good picks at the time, but seeing how the season has played out, we're
Austin Matthews, Rocket Richard.
Yeah, that was a solid pick, and I see you've switched over to it. So as long as Ovechkin doesn't become Ovechkin, we should be good to go.
Honestly, I'm halfway thinking, because it is Ovechkin. I mean, I don't know what the goal differential is as of now, but I might end up sticking with him when we get to that, but it's hard.
Yeah, it doesn't until it's recorded. You are not locked into the pick we have on the dock at this point.
My Hockey Reference website. A lot of websites aren't working today. I don't know if it's just some websites are working. It was
doing that to me yesterday, and I reset the internet and it worked. So if we need to pause and we do that, we can.
On my phone, which
okay, yeah,
I don't know if it's working on my phone and not the computer, but we'll make do. Just a couple first world problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean it happens. You gotta fight through it.
But all right, so first let's I guess, how you doing this week, bud?
Not too bad. A fun D&D sesh that we had this past weekend. The Unfallen here, the dopest nickname ever, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was super sick. I knew I should have had a sweet nickname. I just didn't know what it was. Hey, I told you the last time we talked, I was willing to die fighting that dude.
You almost did.
I almost did, and I was willing to die doing it. I mean, that guy is my mortal enemy. Okay, but I'm doing well. Just pushing through. Looking forward to these trips I have coming up in a couple of months. Jealous that you're going on a trip.
Oh, yeah.
But happy for you, obviously. So,
much
just
needed. It's my wife's first vacation in over like a year and a half.
Ready to get in line and get my COVID vaccine. So I'm hoping that soon everything is opened up to everybody, because soon as that happens, I'm popping in line to grab that. So, what about you, man? Anything fun you got going on?
Just getting ready for this trip. The wife and I are going to the Dominican Republic for a week. It's the same place we went on our honeymoon. So we're excited for that. Also shout out to MCOT Designs, did a great little commission for our D&D party.
Yeah, man.
It's up on my personal Twitter. I'll throw it up on the podcast Twitter as well, so you can take a look at it. She did a good job on that. Check her out on Facebook to get some work done. So let's jump into some March. We're talking a little bit of March Madness. Also, don't forget to check us out on What a Maneuver and Patreon to support the show. So we will also be sending out a link on our Twitter when this on Wednesday, the day before this releases, for people to get into our bracket challenge and submit a bracket. So what are your thoughts on this year's March Madness?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've been into college. I always get into college basketball a little bit more this time of year. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. I mean, it seems like generally one of the questions I was going to ask you is which division do you think is the toughest? Which division of 16 do you think the toughest is? That's a tough question this year. Everything seems pretty balanced out. I'm interested. I wonder if we'll have any COVID mishaps, obviously, as a question, but I'm leaning towards the East bracket with Michigan at the number one seed.
I think Michigan has the hardest path.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, LSU looked really good against Alabama, and they have them in the same bracket again. I mean, Texas being there. That one's going to be tough. If Florida State can figure out how to play outside of Florida State, outside of Tallahassee, I think they would have a decent opportunity. I mean, that Colorado-Georgetown matchup is going to be a mega game that I'm looking forward to for sure. But I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to a bunch of basketball. We didn't get March Madness last year, so this will be an interesting 2-year break that will be coming back into this. I
actually, while you're talking about Colgate, I actually just picked them to beat Texas Tech in the second round.
Ah, nice. So,
yeah, they're a solid team.
Because we're going to be talking about a few of the upsets that we have. I personally have. I think Georgetown is going to beat Colorado, but I wouldn't be surprised if Colorado could win. They're a good basketball team, but Georgetown is hot right now, which a lot of times make a big difference in the tournament. Winthrop over Villanova. Not every bracket that I have, I don't necessarily have them, but Winthrop is always a team that you got to watch this time of year. And like you just brought up, the unlikely option I have is I think Colgate could potentially, the toothpaste could potentially beat Arkansas, 14 beating a 3. Any particular upsets that you wanted to talk about?
I've got North Texas over Purdue. My bad. I didn't put down their seeding when I did this.
That's all good. It's a 13-4.
Yeah. The Mean Greens has a solid defense, and they have a really good 3-point shooting team. And Purdue's defense ain't great, and they aren't great from beyond the arch. So I think North Texas is going to be just too much for Purdue. Colgate, I think they are just amazing at beyond the arch, and Arkansas is just mediocre. I think Colgate's just gonna I know it's you have to outscore them to win, but I think that they are going to just beat them in offensive rebounding and second attempts. And then Syracuse over San Diego State. To me, one of the first things I look at is free throw shooting. Free throw shooting to me is a indicator of so much more than just free throws, because it shows how much it shows how much time you put towards the fundamentals. Not a lot of times, you'll see that teams that are really, really good at free throws are also good at ball handling, defensive rebounds, and stuff like that. And Syracuse is number 15 in the country in free throws. When in March, you're gonna have a lot of close games, and those, if you're able to shoot 80-90% from the free throw line, those are much needed points. So I've got the Syracuse. I don't know. I don't have them go. I might have them going to the Sweet 16 in some. I might have to look. But I think Syracuse is gonna do well in this tournament.
So from the battles of the 16s and 16 1s and 15 2s, who do you think has the biggest chance of getting upset of those?
In the first round Or are you talking about just overall?
Yeah. I mean, well, the 16 ones wouldn't be able to play each other.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about like in each of their own separate matchup.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, each of their own. But yeah, in that first round, the 15 seed has won maybe like once or twice ever, and a 16 seed has only ever won once. Is there anybody that you think has a better shot
I'm looking through them.
Me personally,
maybe Cleveland State and Houston, but that's
what I was literally about to say.
I think I like from what I saw. I've seen 3 of Houston's games so far during their conference tournament. They look good, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Oral Roberts finds a way to beat Ohio State.
Yeah, I was also looking.
I think Alabama and Iowa have it locked up.
Iowa is the number 2 seed. Yeah. I thought you were talking about Alabama's matchup.
I was like, what? No. I think Iowa and Alabama have their matchup locked up. I obviously March anything not going to happen, but I think if I had to pick 2 number 2 seeds who could get upset, I think Ohio State, but I think Houston is the most likely. That I don't think it's going to happen. But if gun to my head, Houston would be the one if I had to throw one out
from the 1 seeds.
That's hard.
I mean Baylor is such a solid team, but so is Hartford. I would look out for that. I think it's going to be a blowout Baylor, no problem. But like you said,
I wouldn't sleep on Drexel.
Yeah, I mean Drexel's a team that always shows up as well. So
when was the last time a number 1 has gotten kicked out in the round of 64?
Well, it's only ever happened once okay. ever. It was Virginia against UNBC, I believe. I'm fairly certain of that. And that was the year that and Virginia was the number 1 overall seed that year.
It might not have been the first round. Didn't Appalachian State upset somebody in like a number 1, or was that a number 2?
It could have happened in basketball, but what I think you're thinking about is when Appalachian State beat number 2 Michigan in football one year. So, but the best 15 win over a 2-seeded team. We all know that. MTSU Blue Raiders over the Spartans, baby.
When was that? Was that 2000? When was that?
That was...
I want to say
2012 or 2013, maybe.
I was in Vegas when that happened, I think.
Maybe 2014, potentially.
Okay, if it's that late, I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas for my cousin's bachelor party when MTSU was playing. I think they upset somebody. It might have been it might have been the year before, and they just got past the first round. Trying to think.
Well, and the year before that that was the same year. Let me see. 2016, it was the year that happened.
Okay, so no, that wasn't the year I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas for some other year. It was a massive upset during March Madness. But
it's going to happen. I mean, the thing is, we assume that these guys are going to go out and win, and they could. I mean, it's not impossible for sure, but I'm interested to see kind of what happens. I think either of the 11-seeded play-in, Wichita or Drake, I think they're a good potential force to move on against USC. Either one of them, really.
I like USC's chances. Not going far, but I will say, and maybe just all this hype of Colgate's gotten me more excited over the last 10 minutes.
You got them winning the whole thing, right?
Well, right now I'm choosing between them and Ohio State, and I'm thinking Colgate could upset number 2 Ohio State, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean Loyola. We remember when they made that Final Four run. I mean, it's definitely possible. I think this year we're probably going to have a lot of the higher seeds moving on just by the nature of the season, though.
All good plans go well in March until about 30 minutes into the first game. Then you're like, oh shit.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
I think the game started on Saturday. I'll be traveling all Saturday, but I do have a 2-hour layover in Baltimore, where I'll be able to at least, so I hope it lines up when the Terps are playing.
Now, the biggest thing, though, the biggest problem, I think, and one of the reasons I think it's going to be highly skewed towards higher seeded teams is that I doubt that they're going to have very full stadiums, which is usually the factor is that teams that are fans that are there to watch their team later on, they start rallying behind that lower seeded
kids
team.
Can feed off that momentum.
Oh yeah, and probably something that they've never felt before, and so that we may not get a lot of that. So there may not be as many upsets as we.
I think Colgate hit their wall in my bracket against Baylor.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup.
Seeing Illinois versus Houston would be a good matchup, though. I think, what is it like? It's been 16 years since a not number 1 and number 2 seed has won it all, or something like that. It's been
it hasn't been that long, because I know UConn went in and won.
Maybe it was a percent. Like, I think it was, maybe they said like only 16% of total national championships have been won by non number 1 and number 2 teams. I could just be making up that number 16 for no reason.
Okay, and so who do you think, I know we're going to do a bunch of different brackets. Who do you think's winning it all?
It's hard to bet against Gonzaga.
Agreed.
While technically they're not I don't know. I know you're not big on Houston. I could see them. It's not much of an upset because I think they're a number 2 seed.
Yeah, there's 2 seed.
Yeah, but to a lot of people, maybe because that's the name value and also just the eye test, I could see them making a run and it possibly being Gonzaga versus Houston. If that's, I don't know if the divisions would allow that to happen.
You said who did you say? Houston and
Gonzaga, but I
think they could be because they're on opposite sides. It's the West and Midwest, so it could be Houston, Gonzaga.
Yeah, in my actual, the one we did for the show, I've got Gonzaga versus Baylor. Gonzaga pulling it out 84-79. But I mean, that's just, that's probably going to fall apart real quick.
Yeah, I think Michigan's team is definitely built for this type of tournament. They're super defensive. I don't think that they're going to win it all. I think they're being in the toughest bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's really anybody's ball
even if
game.
they get out of, the first 2 rounds, that's a lot to have to go through.
Yeah.
What do you think about Alabama and their chances?
Man, if I've
got them in the Final Four,
if their threes are raining down like they did against LSU, I think they're a tough team to beat for sure. Yeah. I personally hate them, and
they won me a good bit of money with hitting that over.
Yeah, I won some money off them as well this weekend, so I mean it's hard to hate on it, but I wouldn't have been mad if I lost the money, So I'm very intrigued by them. I'll be interested to see how they can do outside of the SEC, obviously, against some of these other teams. So
let's move on to our mid-season review. We'll start off with going over who we had in the preseason. We'll do mine. We'll do yours. For the Cup, I had the Avalanche. For the Hart Trophy, I had Jack Eichel. Funny. The Calder, I had I have Lafreniere. Isn't the first name Alexis or Alexia? The S is next to the A, so it might be Alexia Lafreniere, or it could be Alexis Lafreniere. I don't know. Vezina, I've got Vasi. The Norse, I've got Hedman, Art Ross, Draisaitl. The Selke, I've got Bergeron, Jack Adams, Jared Bednar. Rocket Richard, I had the Alex Ovechkin. GM of the Year, I had Julian Brisebois. So what did you have for your preseason predictions?
And as far as for yours go, I think the only one that was kind of laughable at this point now, Jack Eichel. Yeah. I think everything else is pretty solid picks. My Cup, I have Vegas winning. Hart, I have Nathan McKinnon. For the Calder, I had Igor Shesterkin. Vezina, I also had Vasi. Norris, I had John Carlson. Art Ross, I had Connor McDavid. Selke, I had Bergeron. Jack Adams, I had Rod Brindamore of the Panthers. Rocket Richard, I had Austin Matthews. And the GM of the Year, probably my only laughable choice, Kevin Adams from Buffalo. So probably not happening for our 2 Buffalo pick. We tried to give them a shot. So at this point, we want to go award by award and see if we've changed or the same. Okay.
For the Cup, I haven't changed. My initial prediction was it would be Edmonton versus the Avs. I don't know if it's going to be Edmonton versus Avs. I think now I don't know how the bracket will set up, but I could honestly
the team that we're choosing them to play doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's just more for discussion's sake. But I would like to see an Avalanche versus Toronto. I think that would be fun.
That would be great. I have
the Avs winning.
I kept Vegas as well. I like they're not a flashy team, so
Yeah.
you know they don't come to the forefront of your mind, but they always have seemed to go deep in the playoffs. I don't hate that pick.
Yeah. I found that because with hockey so weird that the cup is so unpredictable. I think it's safer just to keep our pick and try to get those extra points.
Try to double it down.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And then I had them playing the Capitals. I'm not so sure about that. I would like to see the Islanders in there.
That's what I was thinking.
That would be fun to see the Islanders to be the best team.
Have
they
established if the playoffs are going to be a bubble or not yet? Do we know?
I do not know. I have no idea. So, so Hart Trophy. Who do you have?
Hart Trophy. I've got now McDavid. He's leading the league in points. It's McDavid. I don't know why I got ballsy and tried to go with someone else.
It looked like an okay pick early on,
yeah,
you know,
until 2 days into the season.
Right, right. I thought about keeping mine at Nathan McKinnon because he could always step it up super hardcore. Then I sort of cheated and saw who you picked, and I was like, well, I got to give myself double the chance to win that because McKinnon could come back and win it. But if McDavid wins, then Bob gets those points, and I don't want that. So I have McDavid as well as my second choice. So I feel pretty good about having two good options in that spot. So
I like that you play defense because I play defense with a pick later down the road as well.
Yeah, I see that now that I'm looking at yours.
All right, so so my Calder, Kirill Kaprizov, he's killing it. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's like a run.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say I chose him as well. For the exact same reasons that you're going to be talking about. He's the
amazing.
Only
one when I was looking at odds to bet on these. He's the only one of these awards
negative odds.
Yeah, the only award. Even Austin Matthews on Rocky Richard is like plus 250 or plus 300, I think. So
yeah,
he's a shoo-in for it. Unless I think even if he were to get injured now, I think that he could still win it. I really
liked both of our original picks, but they were more hopes and dreams, I feel like. And then the Rangers have just looked not great at all. So that was a pipe dream for us. If they would have come out playing like we expected them to, I think they would have. I think both of us probably would have doubled down.
And honestly, as a Preds fan, it seems like a long shot. But from what I've heard from some other people around the league, if he had been playing like how he's playing the last 2 weeks this whole season, Eeli Tolvanen would definitely be in the running. Unfortunately,
be a Predators player to win an award, you have to be far and above the best option for sure. Whereas playing there in Minnesota, they have a hockey pedigree there, and so I don't think it's as difficult to win an award there in Minnesota. Now, not like winning in New York. The New York or the Boston or the Washington guy, I feel like they're going to get the benefit of the doubt from a lot of voters. But yeah, I just don't think that there's really any option other than Kaprizov.
Yeah. Let's see. Vezina, I'm sticking with Vasi.
Same. We doubled down on that. And we might as well just go ahead and X out a couple of these because it doesn't matter at this point.
Well, because we're not doing an actual double down, right?
No, if we win, then we both get the 4 points,
Yeah.
So, at this point, it means nothing if we win or lose it. So, again, a little bit of a defense. But to be fair, far and above dominating right now, playing
It probably
really
would have made
well.
sense. I was going to say maybe it would have made sense for something like that. For now, we say, why don't we both have to choose someone else?
Okay.
But we'll talk about that, and maybe we'll talk about that after the show, and we'll make a decision on it and let you guys know.
Yeah, and then at that
just to add some, so that it's not just a waste, because right now it's a waste, because there is no maybe we make that a tiebreaker where we both pick somebody, and
we can look into that for sure if it comes down. Yeah, we'll talk about it off air. We should probably start making decisions off of air so we don't have to re-listen to like what we made up on the spot.
Luckily, I labeled the doc
you named it.
that had named it, because otherwise, last season, I would have looked through like 15 docs to find the right one.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Norris, I had to make a decision between Victor Hedman and Cale Makar, but I'm sticking with Hedman.
Okay.
So
delete your extra there.
Yeah, well, I unhighlighted it, Makar, but yeah, I just couldn't. I was torn yesterday, but I'm going to try and get those extra points.
Yeah, that's smart because I have Carlson, which I'm not completely against. I have John Carlson as my pick, but I'm not completely against it. But Hedman is looking great. Hedman is looking great, so I had to make that choice. So if Hedman wins, that's a little bonus that you get for that keeping the same, which I was hoping you would go with Makar, and so that way, even if you won, you got 2 points, and instead of the 4 points. But if Hedman can pull it out, then I'll get 2 on that. So
the Art Ross, I had Draisaitl just moving to McDavid. I mean, he's gonna.
If he can stay healthy, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I had McDavid, and I'm gonna pull the risky move instead of playing defense and moving to Draisaitl or even going to Patrick Kane. I'm just gonna stick with Connor McDavid. If he can stay healthy, then that 4 points is really gonna help me out, especially if Hedman wins the Norris.
Yeah.
So
Selke, I'm sticking with Bergeron. It just seems. I mean, I see you got Barkov.
Yeah, I went and switched mine. As much as Bergeron is looking like the odds-on favorite. I mean, Barkov is looking really good right now.
Yeah.
I am. So I'm happy with that switch there, and I hope that.
I like your switch too, but this is one of those things where I was, because with the way we're doing the points, I had to make, between using my brain and being like, all right, but I need points if I can get them. So I might as well stick with this pick. We still have a couple weeks left in the season and see, I might need that.
It's definitely the smart move. I just wanted to kind of spread myself a little bit with how Barkov is playing right now and how the Panthers are playing. So,
yeah. Let's see. Jack Adams, Jared Bednar, I'm sticking with him. So
I actually stuck with my pick as well. Rod Brindamore, the Hurricanes coach. I think that one's going to be right there. Could make a big difference for sure for either of us. For one of us to get 4 points, I guess best case scenario would be neither of us win it. So I stuck with the same on that. Rocket Richard, did you switch?
Yeah, just a little bit. I did. So first off, I looked at their stat. Ovi has 11 goals. He's 10 goals behind Matthews. Yeah. That is even for Ovi, that's such a delta to make up that, I mean, also Matthews would have to get injured.
I almost switched my Hart Trophy winner to Matthews, but he just doesn't have the overall points level yet. So that is what I'm going to obviously stick on the Rocket Richard. I'm obviously going to stick with my Matthews pick. So that could be a difference maker for us. GM of the year. I had Julian, I guess Brisbois is how it's pronounced, with the Lightning. And I was going to go same, just how good the Lightning are. But then I was realizing, I was like, I got to play defense here. Not just that, but it's also a good pick because Lou Lamoriello, I mean, the Islanders on a 8-game win streak right now, 9-game win streak. Yeah, they're looking really good.
I mean, I know they're due for a loss, and against the Cavs, I hammered down the money line and the over tonight. They're playing Washington. So we'll hopefully that doesn't mean I didn't curse them.
Yeah, you have cursed him. Yeah. Way to go. It was tough. I thought about sticking with my pick of Kevin Adams.
You never know.
The Buffalo GM.
He can make quite a run.
I just wanted to open up my options a little bit, and I see that you've agreed with me, which makes me feel better about my pick. I obviously went with Lou Lamoriello as well. He's doing a lot with a little. That's a hard sell to get somebody to come play for the Islanders. And, I thought about switching my Rod Brindamore Jack Adams award to Trotzy. But, I mean, I was like, let's just double down on it. But, yeah, I think Lamoriello is looking really, really good, like a good choice. So I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
Games of the week. Bobby and Brandon do the work, so you don't have to. The best from around the NHL and what to watch.
All right. Let's see. I'm actually picking the winners right now. I've got the games, but I'm going to go through. I'll pick them live.
Me too. Yeah.
But why don't you start us off with your Thursday game?
For Thursday, I have the the Islanders. Wait, I know what you were trying to do. We did not record update, folks.
I keep forgetting to do that.
It's all good. I would too if I were you. You have one game remaining, so
like always.
So it's yet to be seen. It's not even playing tonight. It'll be playing tomorrow night, and I believe that game is the Flyers Rangers on Wednesday. The
Assuming
NBC Sports
Flyers,
Network.
right?
You do have the
Flyers.
You do have the Flyers. So congratulations, which you needed. You had a rough start, and you got a win last night, which actually was a double loss for me because I had money on the Bruins money line.
Yeah, you told me that was that your free bet, or was that
that was my risk free.
Yeah.
So
I lost the Preds lost me my risk free bet too. So
yeah. So it's 21, 22 and 1. You have one game remaining, so you have a chance to pull even, and it's looking like a good opportunity for you to pull even there. I'm sitting at 22, 20 and 3. So keeping up with you, or technically right now beating you in the win column with my 3 postponed games. So for my first game of the week, I have the Flyers versus the Islanders. I have the Islanders winning that. That's Thursday the 18th, 6 p.m. That's the NHL.TV free game. So definitely go check that out if you get a chance.
All right. So on Thursday at 8 p.m., I've got the Wild versus the Avs. The Wild are looking good. Both of these teams are looking good. I've got the Avs pulling that one out. And that will actually kind of lead into my, why I think that the Wild are going to do well the week after. But let's see. Tell us about your Friday night game.
Yeah, my Friday night game, I have the Golden Knights playing the Kings, and Kings have been looking really good lately. I'm actually going to go with the Kings. Little bit of a risky choice here, but I wanted to pick a good game, and Friday night at 9 p.m. That's the 19th. So
I got the Canucks versus the Habs. The Habs have been struggling lately, but I think I don't even want to say they pull out of their slump. I think they just pull one out against the Canucks. The other night I took Nick Suzuki out of my lineup, and I didn't watch the game. But then on Twitter,
you fool!
Well, on Twitter it said, "Look at this amazing play by Suzuki." I'm like, damn it! And it shows him like deking around, but he misses the goal. I'm like, whew.
You get a shot on goal though.
You got a shot on goal, but it was in a points league.
Hopefully you lost. Well, you get points for shots on goal, right? Or is it straight points?
It's a straight points league. It's not one of mine. And so I was like, damn it, I took it. But because a bunch of my players are starting to come off injured reserve now, so that means I have to start finding spaces for them.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to drop Suzuki. In one of our leagues, I dropped Taylor Hall because he's getting especially he's in the high score league too. So I was able to pick up a D man who gets way more points.
That's not a bad choice at all, honestly. Yeah. So my Saturday game, I have the Jets playing the Oilers Saturday the 20th at 9 p.m. I guess I'm trying to get people to stay up late. NHL TV free game, so go watch that. I actually have, even though the Jets are playing so well right now, I have the Oilers winning that.
All right. Sunday at 7:30, I've got
Sunday.
The Preds versus the Stars. Listen, the Preds looked good against Tampa, as much as my wallet hated it.
Looked real good.
Yeah, but I don't think they're turning the corner at all. I don't think this is like their beginning of their playoff run, but they've also looked pretty good against the Stars this year. So I've got the Preds beating the Stars on Sunday.
Except for those first 2 Stars games where we got about 30 power play goals scored
lately. And by lately, I mean the last one.
For sure. I have, for my Sunday game, I have the Panthers playing the Lightning, and that's Sunday the 21st at 3 p.m. I almost went with the Panthers. I think I'm going to go with the Lightning. I think they need to kind of come back off that loss that they suffered. So
yeah, I've got Lightning -1.5 tonight. I can't remember who they're playing, but I've got them winning. They're not taking 2 losses. I think they're going to come out tonight hard. I've got the Kings versus the Sharks. The Sharks, as much as I wrote them off in the beginning, they're starting to show a sign of improvement.
Yeah, Vander Kane's playing like he's man in debt.
Yeah. Well, when your team has to restructure your entire contract because you went into debt, you better show up to work.
Yeah.
But I've got the Kings winning. I think the Kings are just they're looking good. I picked up Drew Doughty in a couple leagues because he's starting to look solid.
Solid pickup there for sure. I mean, Doughty's always a great option.
Yeah, in one league, when you can say you dropped Taylor Hall and picked up Drew Doughty and feel like you did good, something's going on with Taylor Hall when that's the case.
Yeah. I have for my final game on Monday, the 22nd at 9 p.m., I have the Avs playing the Yotes. I have the Avs winning that, though I wouldn't be surprised if the Yotes were to pull something out of a hat. So, yes.
My last game of the week, I've got the Ducks versus the Wild. Ducks have a lot of good young guys. This is a 4:30 NBC Sports Network game. Watch these NBC games while you can, because it'll be on ESPN next year.
I hope that they do a good job with that. I know we're going to actually talk about that in the next episode that we're recording today, but won't be coming out for a couple of weeks. So I'm sure we'll have a little bit of more of a discussion on that
next week when you're listening to this.
Right.
But yeah, so I've got the Wild winning. I think it'll be a close game, but so that wraps up our games of the week, and that actually wraps up the episode. Hope you guys have a good week. Stay tuned for the fantasy show next week. The fantasy show is taking a hiatus next week, but you can catch some of the info that we'll be pushing out on Twitter. And the same with games of the week for next week. So we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.